I think what this is just kind of the Barichuk deal. Where the targeted stalking started was just the complete incompetence, all the stuff I ran into. What this means is we have two governors, an ex-governor and the present governor, and Mike Weldon, the Director of Human Resources, in a lot of trouble, which I have reported as fraud, for misallocating millions of dollars that was received for behavioral health sciences. As I said, the other guys just disappeared that I found this with. Well, we have a Shannon Bryant in the JAG, the DOD in Carson City, liable for millions for this Privacy Act deal. We have Shannon Bryant, who is a friend of the judges, going to prison for life over this computer hacking because it's 2 to 5 for every count, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who does it to. We have corrupt judges now because this judge basically completely stripped me of my daughter and all my assets for no legal reason. And that is a federal charge. And I have actually also filed federal charges against the judge and Francis Doherty and Shannon Bryant here with the U.S. Attorney. And I did that just a few weeks ago, so I'm still waiting to hear on that. But I basically got every law enforcement agency calling all over. Just recently I received a phone call from the FBI that was very strange in Reno. The FBI had called and said, oh, David Hardy, there's nothing illegal there. Well, David Hardy was the one that originally took my daughter from me, because I may have had contact with Darren Mack or whoever. So I said, wait a minute. And this FBI guy said, well, you know, in family court we don't investigate because it's too emotional. I said, I'm not complaining against my ex. I'm complaining against the judge for making an illegal decision and tampering with custody. And the man was very nice, and he was saying he was making a courtesy call until I started asking for his name and having this in print. And he basically, I said, I don't believe you. Judges are not above the law. It is corruption, because what this FBI agent was telling me was I had to prove that the judge was actually receiving something in exchange for his decision. And I pretty much said, no, it's for me to make the complaint, give you good cause, which is my daughter stripped from me, and I have a clean bill of mental health. All I'm suffering is long-term depression and anxiety. Which is
from the stress of what's happening.
Yeah, that's it. I passed every test I've taken. I mean, I actually did do a suicide attempt when all this was happening, and I was being harassed everywhere.
That's very typical, too, of stalking victims, because that's what they try to drive you to, I believe. Do you think in your case they would want you to commit suicide?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They want me dead. I actually had 2 death threats while I was in Reno that I was going to be murdered just like Charlie Mack, who was murdered, not sliced to death. In Arizona, and was witnessed in the hospital that they would kill me by lethal injection. Now, my ex started calling all the doctors and all my friends and harassing everybody. Now, this was in a town in Arizona I'd never been in. He found me there. Now, he claims to find me through my car. That doesn't work because my car was actually 3 hours from the place I was. We dropped cell phones, everything. The safe house that I was in Phoenix said, we don't want you here, it's too dangerous. They kicked me out. I went to the safe house in northern Arizona. They kicked me out. They said it's too dangerous. They actually paid to ship me to New Jersey to a friend who could hide me and I could work because I can't work. I've been harassed at work. My last job was for $40 an hour, and I was harassed out of that. He sent people into my work, attacked my vehicle, everything. I'm harassed over the internet. I have that in print now. I did lose all my court documentations, and I'm urging all the boards to get them all the documentation back, because the court I have actually requested and paid for, and they refuse to even give me my divorce papers to change my name. They are refusing to give anybody. I have a missing children's investigator on this. This investigator has been refused all the documents and contact. Everybody's been refused all the documents by this court. They found me in New Jersey, and they didn't actually, they threatened my life like through 2 people, not me, to my face. So this starts helping me because other people are hearing these death threats at this point. They basically said that if I continued to email and file all these complaints, that they would kill me and make it look like a suicide, like the suicide attempt I had. So basically, we had police all over us, and I was welcoming them. We actually had surveillance around the building I was living in, and I was welcoming them. You know, I was like, the more the better. And actually the police started being very kind to me. I'm like, you know, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, you know. And basically, when I got the death threats and I ended up in a shelter in Atlanta, same thing in Atlanta. They found me. Another death threat in front of people. And Atlanta paid to ship me back here. And I got my storage and all that stuff. I had some personal items that I just sold and got off of for a few $100s. I had things in storage that were worth a fortune that just got busted up completely. You know, people trying to say, I had friends and my brother tried to save things for me. I did manage to save, you know, my daughter's, you know, keepsakes, first year stuff and all that. But ultimately, I have lost just about everything. They find me no matter where I go. They harass me. Here in LA, I haven't been bothered, except on the internet. I basically, in LA, I finally said, this is enough. I'm through being scared. We're going to take care of this. And I have since, in the last 2 months, as I said, filed complaints with the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, everywhere. I've got people calling all over them. So we'll just see what happens. DCFS at the federal level in San Francisco is on it. The Department of Justice Juvenile Division is on it. I've had trouble getting into shelters, again, because I wanted to originally get into a shelter here in LA. Basically, I hear they're either too full or my case is too dangerous. Well, we have a problem with that because they're actually paid to shelter me. My ex is involved. It is domestic violence. So I wrote I believe it's the Office of Violence Against Women, Department of Justice, and I've told them this. Basically, in my case, what I'm looking for is for an advocate to explain to the shelter just the bare needs without scaring the shelter I'm in, and you know, have the victim advocates work with me in the courts. The only thing I'm short is attorney. No attorney wants to touch my case. I'm not pro bono material because my custody case is going to end up going federal. I refuse to walk into that court again.
Are you part of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance? Because I understand that they did find an attorney, and they are getting representation. Do you know?
No.
Are you a member of Freedom from Covert Harassment?
No, I'm not.
If you go to Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, it's freedomfchs.com.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great site because they have great support for targeted individuals, and I'm actually on there as well. But they are very active and progressive in fighting organized stalking. And
well, mine would probably be very easy because the crazy thing about this is I didn't even know Mike Wilden was involved in this. He revealed himself when I was in Atlanta to law enforcement.
Well, they did find an attorney.
Everybody that's involved. I have their names, their positions, everything.
Well, they found Freedom from Covert Harassment has found an attorney to represent STIs, and I'm in on that lawsuit, so you might want to contact them tomorrow.
I will, actually, or tonight even, if they're on the internet, because the strangest thing, as I told you earlier, was I did get x-rays of my feet. My ex said that I have these implants on my feet. Now, this is all rumored by my ex. As far as the implants, I never had a real problem with that, ever. But the advocates are starting to believe that they are there in the safe houses I was in because this man finds me no matter where I am. No matter where I am, he finds me. I've dropped cars, personal belongings, cell phones, everywhere, to where I was down to nothing but me and my clothes.
Yes, they do drive you into nothing.
They'll find me.
Maybe because you're under 24-hour surveillance, so if you pack up and move, they've got people probably following you. And implants, tracking device, too.
Well, yeah, it was just bizarre because my ex has just scared everybody, every safe house I was in. He made it so obvious. One of the safe houses, when I was actually leaving the observation center for the suicide attempt, he knew just an hour before I was leaving that I was leaving, and the only way he could have known was I was actually sending text messages to my friends saying that I'm leaving the center and going into a safe house. So my ex actually called while I was in a case management meeting and freaked out 8 people. How could this man know? But we are just talking about right now. I was like, the only thing could be the cell phone. So we dumped the cell phone. And this man is so stupid. It's almost like he's giving it away. And that's the thing. That's why I finally stopped. I stopped running and stopped being afraid of all this. I said, even the director of welfare identified himself. When you're stalking people, these people are criminally stupid. You don't tell people who you are. I know everything. I have the print on everything. I know exactly what, when, who, where, and why. And I know where to get the print I need.
Well, I know that my stalkers, I know who they are too, and that doesn't scare them. Because they get police help.